Yo, it's Bam Bam back with media. So, spirituality is not morality. And I got to make that very clear for y'all. And I'm going to let y'all understand this in a very simple sense. You don't, in spirituality, it's all about awareness. So, morality, or what you call, when you're talking about what people think is morally right, right? You have balanced Mayat, right? And we understand balance. The laws of Mayat are teaching you not about how to be moral, so to speak, but it's understanding that you carry a certain frequency. So, in order to achieve balance of frequency, you have to be in a certain alignment with yourself and your chakras and your functioning. That does not mean necessarily that morality or morally you have to necessarily be a certain way, or that depends on your spiritual, you know, insight, so to speak. Because because if you take it like this, a negative person or a person that is, of the darker polarity, that doesn't mean that they can't be spiritually inclined if they don't know what they're talking about. That just means that they don't they want to follow how they do things in their polarity, in their version of how they think things should be, which is it's okay, but we understand that us being these light beings, being these positive beings, for us to achieve a certain frequency and to be in certain spaces, this is why we actually are doing this. Once you have that awareness of you are in a physical body, but you're not the physical body, and you understand that you have a spiritual body as well as different aspects of the soul and different things like that, then you know that my goal is to actually free myself or free my soul. So when people try to say, oh, oh, this nigga, how come that person that was that did all that stuff got these blessings? Like, how come I see Diddy and I see all these other superstars out here still winning, they got all this good stuff, and these people that's been good to people? Because it's not about morality. Especially when you're dealing with manifestation, it's not about morality. It's about a functioning of knowing how things work. If you know how energy works, you know there's an exchange of energy no matter what you do. There's a cause and effect. We also understand that there's polarity of everything, right? But polarity is only to get to a triangularity, or to be able to have a center point, or an understanding the balance between things. We understand that everything works in threes and tandem, things like that. You understand that we are the soul, or like the controller that's inside of the not inside, but that is in the illusionary reality of being in a body. So you may be bigger than. Let me give y'all a real example. You may have a very wide perspective of what space you're actually in. Meaning, we're all in the mind right now, but we appear as if we're physical beings. But our true selves know that we're in the mind at this moment. So what we're doing is playing out roles and acting out roles, right? So when you come down here, it's to bring this lower consciousness that is kind of stuck in a state of delusion or confusion, and to start to uplift it back to where it needs to be, or bring the frequency of the planet back up through individual, or I like to call it interdependence, through this knowing of self. So if you know yourself and you know who you are on the inside, right, then you can start to understand that spiritually, when I die, right, and when I pass away, we know that I have to be judged. And when I have to get judged, I'm not being judged by everybody else. I'm being judged by myself, and by this self, or the inner self, or the higher self, by the self that is the true you. It says, okay, either you're ready to come up in frequency, or you're ready to be stuck down in frequency where you already was. In that sense, you start to understand, okay, this is depending upon frequency. This is, if I'm not on a certain frequency, then I know that I not only will I attract negative things and negative beings, because some people actually like that shit. That's for them that like it. But also, it will determine what space I'm going to enter when I go into a new realm. Because death is a transition period. So as you have death and you transition over, you either going into, once you go through that we call it nether realm, or you go through these different spaces, you understand to free thyself is to have a certain knowing of thyself, to have a certain light. And this light comes from frequency, or the ability to be able to have a certain awareness of who you are and what things are. And you knowing and understanding how functionings work, like Osiris, when it comes to the power of the pieces that was cut up. When you know how things work and how things operate, it gives you enlightenment. And once it gives you this enlightenment is light. And so it's putting light inside of your body. You understand, you get, once you connect the DNA strands of light, now I can activate, myself to not come back here and do this physical thing again. And so the physical realm itself, through this process, will start to upgrade and go beyond just physical. So eventually this physical realm of 3D will eventually, well, you still have a quote unquote third dimensional world in a certain type of reality, but there will be higher dimensional realities of the earth itself, because we had brought it to that point. Because us individually, but interdependence, so interconnectedly, us on different parts of the planet, as we raise the frequency, we start to raise the frequency of the planet. Now the planet itself will go through its own evolution, and it's going through its own evolution. We'll start to bring everything on higher and higher densities. So this is what we're actually here to do, and what we're meant to do. Morality is a sense of, just because, I'm a good person, good things gonna happen to me. That's not true. We know in life, you have a certain path, or you have what they call a destiny that you have to walk down. And understanding that, yes, you will have good things that will happen in your life, but don't mean you don't have to go through bad things or go through things that you consider as negative at first. It's an understanding that once I learned myself, I know how to go through these things and navigate like a current. Like I know how to ride the current and stay stable on my boat, like ride on his boat. So it's just that understanding and that understanding that that's what we're here to do, and that's the true goal of consciousness in itself, right? It is to expand that awareness and to have that knowledge, that insight into that connectivity of a wholeness of these different fields of energy. And so this is the goal. This is the thing that we're supposed to do. This is the whole process, and us judging each other and coming at each other like, just because this person has a difference in opinion, or because this person thinks they're right, whether it's science or spirituality or it's religion or these different aspects of things that are all really the same thing, but we all explain it in different formats and manners, because we all have a piece of the knowledge, but not one person has the whole clue, has everything. And it's that in that understanding that, not since one person doesn't have everything, we all are putting out our own information. This information is light, and this light upgrades the frequency and the density, and we become more light beings. You feel me? We know we are light, sound, tone, frequency beings. We know that this physical body is only a product of other things. So let's, come together. Let's keep on working together as conscious beings, as enlightened beings, as beings who want to see each other prosper out here, and physically, spiritually, mentally, in every aspect. But this is how we do it, right? We keep bringing the consciousness.